Hey everybody, this is Uecker and Sons Trading. Doing a little memories and memorabilia thing here, talking about some baseball cards from the past. This is Eric, and Evan's with me tonight.
Hi.
And one of the things I wanted to show you is this little folder here. This little folder, 1993 Donruss. It was a handout type folder, giveaway at Busch Stadium back in the 1993. And when you would open these up, they would have a set of team cards in these folders, right? Well, what I would do is I would take these folders, I would empty them of the team, and then I would put cards in there that I could try to get autographed when I was working at the ballpark. So I just wanted to open it up. Well, the quick story about this is I couldn't find this thing for years. I knew that I had some really cool cards in here that I had collected. I had gotten in-person autographs over the years. And so I finally found it the other day. Do you know where it was, Ev?
In the top of my closet.
In the top of your closet, in the middle of a stack of old yearbooks. I just kind of floated through there and found this thing, and I was so excited because it has some really cool cards in it. Now, I've taken a bunch of the cards out and put them into top loaders that I'll share with you in a second, but just to open this up, you can see some of the guys who are still floating around in here who I didn't think were that worthy necessarily of pulling out and putting in top loaders right away. Here's a Greg Jeffries. There's a Alan Watson. In one of our other shows, I had his batting helmet, which was kind of cool. Here's a Milt Thompson and a Mike Perez and a Bien Figueroa. I got these some of these down at spring training back in 1993 when I was 16 years old. Yeah, Luis Alicea, Todd Zeal. Anybody remember Todd Zeal? Rick Sutcliffe, Real Cormier. Jim Eisenreich, he had Tourette's syndrome, I think. Anyway, here's some guys, floating around in here. And see, I would keep the cards in the back here, these Cardinal cards that I might see the people and be able to get their autograph. Here's Mike Jorgensen. What's interesting about him was he was actually the Cardinals manager when Joe Torre left in the mid-1990s. Now, I want to show you some of the cards that I received autographs on, and I pulled them out of that sleeve. Here, if you look at it, here's a Mike Shannon World Series baseball card, and it's autographed. Cards take the opener. This was against New York, and so this card was a 1965 card about the 1964 World Series. So kind of fun there. Let's see here. What else we got?
Something on the back.
It had $2 written on the back. Yeah, so I don't know what I bought the card for, but then I got the autograph. Here's an Enos Slaughter. This is when he was with the Yankees. We've done a thing on Enos Slaughter before, but that's an autographed card. Let's see, what year is that? That would be a 1957 Yankees Enos Slaughter card. It's not in the greatest condition, but it's got the autograph. Here's another Mike Shannon rookie star signed card. It's not the best autograph because it's black, kind of over black, but you can see it there. So Mike Shannon, he's a St. Louis hero. He's the voice of the Cardinals. Now this guy here, a guy named Joe Cunningham, he was a outfielder, but he also started. He shared with me a story one time that he was at first base, and they switched him and Musial, so Musial could come in from the outfield to play first base. Now, Joe Cunningham worked for the St. Louis Cardinals when my mom worked there and when I was working there. He was just a good man. He's still living. What's interesting is McDonald's put out this series of cards when the Cardinals had their 100th anniversary. They did this series of cards, and it was 100 cards of the best Cardinal players ever. And Joe got on there. I think they call him, I think it was Smokey Joe Cunningham or something like that was his nickname. Here's one of the great Cardinal players of my era, Ray Lankford. He was a center fielder. He's now a Cardinals Hall of Famer. He's not in the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
Do you think you will?
No. But he was a very good center fielder. Loved Ray Lankford. I have a couple of his bats on our wall. Yeah, pretty cool. Here's kind of a fun one. This is Milo Hamilton. He was a broadcaster for, I guess, the Astros, and I think he worked for other teams as well, or another team. But Holy Toledo, Milo Hamilton with the Astros. Now, I've got a few of these guys here. This guy here, Dal Maxville. Dal Maxville was the general manager for the Cardinals, but he was also kind of he was an infielder, a shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals back in the 60s, played in several of their World Series back then, but he became a general manager, and he was general manager in the 80s and 90s. So here are 2 cards autographed by Dal Maxville, which is kind of fun. Here's another 2 Joe Cunningham cards. This was just kind of fun because I had access to these guys growing up, and so being able to stop them, see them, get their autographs, talk to them, just kind of fun. But he was a very nice man. In fact, he used to go around to schools and kind of get kids involved for Cardinal baseball and stuff back in the day. Let's see. Here's a Bob Tewksbury. When I was an usher at the Busch Stadium, we called this guy 2-Hour Tewksbury, the usher's best friend. Usually when he pitched the game would be over in about 2 hours, so we could go home early. So it was always
he a
kind
dominant pitcher?
No, he wasn't really down. He was more of kind of a finesse pitcher.
Okay.
Here's a Ron Swoboda autograph, and I think he was with the Miracle Mets. I believe, I'm not 100% positive. My uncle got me this card. My Uncle Don, who I've talked about. I used to go to card shows and stuff with my Uncle Don. Yeah. So this is Ron Swoboda, and I guess we got his at Two Hearts Banquet Center during a card show one time. My uncle got this for me. Here's another Mike Shannon card, and this is on the that 100th anniversary McDonald's card that I was telling you about. I have a full set of these, not autographed, but I do have a full set of the 100th anniversary cards, and that's kind of fun. Let's see here. I'm going to put these to the side. Oh, here's another Mike Shannon. Boy, I used to see him quite often. So here's another Dal Maxville. Now this one is pretty interesting. This is a Todd Zeile. He was a third baseman for the Cardinals, and I think he played for the Cubs and probably the Mets for a little bit, and there's a card in here. But this one's unique in that it's signed by Todd Zeile, but it's also signed by his wife, Julianne McNamara Zeile. And I forget what event she participated in, but she was a medalist in the Olympics. And so she was I remember, I'm thinking a gymnast, but I have to look it up again. Not exactly sure, but I got her autograph as well. So it's not too often you get a husband and wife on a baseball card. I do have a Joe Torre and an Allie Torre autographed baseball. Let's see here. Speaking of Joe Torre, here's a couple cards of Joe Torre. He was
I like the design.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he was a very cool Cardinals third baseman. I think he also caught. But Joe was an MVP for the Cardinals back in the, oh gosh, I used to know it right off the top of my head when he was the
Catcher.
MVP. But anyway, but I got his autograph a whole bunch of times while at Busch Stadium when he was the manager. He'd come out the door, the same door as Mike Shannon and all those guys. So I would sit out there with cards and get their autographs. But he made a bigger name for himself as the manager of who?
The Yankees.
The Yankees, that's right. So he's an incredible Yankees manager for Yankees history. And so, but we've got a bunch of our autographs of him as a Cardinal.
Question.
Yeah.
Did they ever remember you when you got their autographs multiple times?
Yeah, sometimes they'd see us sitting out there, but they knew we weren't out there to collect them and sell them. We were there to actually keep them and enjoy them.
Yeah.
The last 2 cards are pretty cool for me. This
like
one, this one is a Whitey Herzog, and Whitey, this is when he played with Detroit Tigers, but he's more known for his managing, and so Whitey became the Cardinals manager in 1980-81, and he ended up going to 3 World Series with the Cardinals in 82, 85, and 87, and he won it in 1982 against the Brewers. So Whitey is just a Cardinal legend. He's a Cardinals Hall of Fame, but he's also in the National Baseball Hall of Fame, which is really, really cool, and it was a great honor for him. And he's still living. You see him in the red jacket ceremonies at Busch Stadium when they all come out and do their thing. Now this card here, this last card here, is the most special in the card that I had in this folder, and it's also one of the most special autographs that I have. Ta-da! Bob Uecker. Do you know who Bob Uecker was?
No.
Okay. Bob Uecker was.
I know he's a catcher.
He was not a very good catcher at all, but he at least made it to the major leagues. And he was in the 1964 World Series, or he played for the Cardinals in 1964 when they went to the World Series. But Bob is mostly known as Mr. Baseball. He is the Hall of Fame announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers. Okay, but Bob was also a TV star back in the 80s. He played on a show called Mr. Belvedere. He was also on the Tonight Show a lot, and he's probably most famous movie is Major League, and he plays Harry Doyle, and he's a broadcaster, and he's funny as heck, and he's wonderful. He's like, just a bit outside, you know.
That's what he's known for?
Yeah. So
That's him?
Yeah. So he's in that movie Major League. But anyway, let me tell you the story behind this card. Back in the 1980s when he was in Mr. Belvedere, my cousin Brad, who was like a brother to me growing up, my cousin Brad traded his bicycle. Now, he told me it was just a frame and handlebars, no chain or tires, but it was a frame and handlebars. He traded the bicycle for a Bob Uecker baseball card. Okay?
I would do it.
It was cool back then because Bob was massively famous for that TV show, and he was really popular and everything. So Brad traded his bike for a Bob Uecker baseball card. And I always thought it was really cool. Well, fast forward to when I was in high school or college, I opened up a Christmas gift from my cousin Brad one time, and it was a big, long box, and I opened it up, and it was a box of all his baseball cards. And on top was this Bob Uecker baseball card. Okay? So in 1994, I must have had it in early high school years. In 1994, I took this to a baseball writers' dinner that was celebrating the 64 World Series championship. And I saw Bob Uecker there, and I got him to sign it.
Oh,
So-
I thought it was already signed.
No, it was not signed. He just got the card, and it wasn't signed. And I think these are fairly valuable, probably about $70 on eBay, but it's priceless to me because my cousin, who's like a brother to me, got it for me or gave it to me. And what he went through to get it was kind of cool. So it was a big deal to trade your bike in the 1980s, so when we were kids. So anyway, just a few fun things that I found in the closet, and thought I'd share them with you all. Okay. That it?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Please like and subscribe.